Duh.
What's up, people? Live from the Good News Studio in Hawthorne, California. It's your favorite football podcast, Touchdowns and Tangents. Later than ever, but we're here. To my right, as always, Kenneth, how you doing?
Excellent, man. Excellent. Shout out to King of Wings, man. They're just great service, great food, great beer. Always a good time over there.
Yeah, man. Ain't got no problem with a pregame King of Wings spot, unfortunately. Just led us to being late. But yeah, we'll play through it.
It's mostly Pete's fault, but it's okay.
Everything is always my fault.
Just like a Taurus to just take credit for everything. Even the blame. Like, I'm going to take credit for all the negative, make myself a victim.
Speaking of individual issues, some people got paid this week, so let's jump right into it.
I mean, talking about civilians like us, or
no, we didn't get paid. We wish we did.
I mean, I got paid this week, but not as much as Josh Allen did. Salute to that man. Like, I know,
from Wyoming to one of the highest
Fireball, California.
Bakersfield.
I remember when I played Fireball High School.
Wait, you really played Fireball High School?
The Southern California one, not the Bakersfield one.
Oh, okay.
Southern California one, we beat the dog shit out of them. But yeah, salute to him. A lot of cats who have the talent, when you see them like stick it through, like they say, oh, you have a strong arm, but you're underdeveloped. And then he makes his way from a JUCO to Wyoming. He made Wyoming relevant for the first time since Todd Christensen was their head coach, and he eventually was like the offensive coordinator in Missouri, I think, at one point. And he became a head coach at Wyoming. That's the last time they're relevant. Under Craig Bowl, who I forget where he's coaching at now. But yeah. So this is Josh Allen, all the progress he's made. 6-year, $258 million contract extension, $150 million guaranteed. Cash money. That's a hell of an achievement.
Yeah, I don't know what.
And his visor game is sick. $150 million guaranteed. Fam, what do you cash money? Oh yes, and if you're listening to us, shout out to X Squad Affiliates, Good News Sports, all that. You can listen to us on YouTube. You can subscribe to the TGN Sports YouTube channel, which is vastly growing, and you can see us live because we're also on StreamYard. So yeah,
you can see how bad my hairline looks,
and you can see I look way darker on this than I do in person. It's hey, what? First off, you're not allowed to say that. That's racist.
How's that racist?
You can't agree with me.
How is that racist?
It's like if you call your girlfriend.
How is that racist? That's not racist at all.
You can't agree with me that I said I'm darker.
Why?
Because
just because you say I can, it's not because I'm racist.
It sounds fucked up. No, I said it sounds racist. It's racist adjacent.
Out of all the reasons why I could be racist, that's not the one.
You know what? I'm gonna just let people look at our archives, and I mean, you think Frankie Beverly and Maze Before I Let Go is a terrible
the worst
song.
cookout song.
Who the fuck invited you to the cookout?
A lot of people.
Who gave you an opinion? Okay.
A lot of people.
What was the potato salad like?
Good.
What was in the potato salad? You know what the
fuck?
Not
cranberries and almonds.
What else?
That's what you're referring to.
What else was in it? Were there carrots in it? Were there raisins in it? You sure?
Yeah.
Was there like a ganache or some shit?
Ganache and a fucking macaroni and a potato salad. I'm sorry.
I said next to the potato salad. Was there some weird funky ass dish that they only make? Did they have toaster strudel? Because yeah, that's another thing that's not really at black cookouts. I don't know where the fuck that came from. People just thought they could add pastries because you don't have a fucking cooking palette. It's like, oh, we're gonna have a cookout and we're just gonna add pastries. Wait, what? So it's just fancy bread? Like, homie, I'm gonna just cut that in half and put whatever meat you got on the grill in between it. You don't even need to do all this.
Anyways, back to other news we gotta talk about this week.
A lot of people got paid this week.
Go
So
on.
the year of the middle linebackers are finally getting the respect they deserve financially. Imagine if Ray Lewis was getting this much money. Patrick Willis. All those guys I feel like got robbed. Luke Kuechly, all those linebackers, middle linebackers. Shout out. That's why Carl Dansby, who I believe has Hall of Fame numbers. If you look at his numbers, they're almost as good as Urlacher's. He played in the Super Bowl too, and was actually, I'd say he played better than Urlacher when Dansby was on the Cardinals. And he played multiple positions too. He played outside linebacker, inside linebacker. Was a second round pick out of Auburn. Go look up Carl Dansby's stats.
I know who Carl Dansby is.
His interceptions, sacks, tackles. I would say he's a Hall of Fame player.
He chased better than Zach Thomas.
Yes, he chased a bag. He was more versatile too. He chased a bag everywhere he went. He was getting bags in Cleveland. He got bags in Miami. But everywhere he went, he was productive. So you can't even hate on that man. Like some people say, oh, you're chasing stats. Well, if you're that good that late in your career, why are you hating? There's a reason why Melo's on the Lakers, because he can still play. This isn't a Tracy McGrady situation where we know he has nothing left, so he's just riding it out with the Spurs. Dansby was a monster. But anyway, speaking of a guy who kind of plays like Carlos Dansby and has similar ball skills, but this dude probably has even better ball skills, and he came from South Carolina State at HBCU. And some people said he was the worst pick of the draft when he went in the second round, which, I mean, if you watched him play at the Senior Bowl, clearly he wasn't, and he tested pretty good. The Maniac himself. I thought you were going to.
My bad.
There we go. All-pro linebacker Darius Leonard, who should have won Defensive Player of the Year over Marcus Gilmore.
Fun fact, Carlos Dansby never made a Pro Bowl or All-Pro.
He got snubbed for at least 4 Pro Bowls.
Zach Thomas made 7 All-Pros. Yeah. Their stats are pretty similar. Dansby has more sacks.
But that's what I'm saying. Dansby.
But Thomas has more fumbles and interceptions.
There's cats who got.
Their tackles are about the same.
There was an era where Pro Bowls were strictly just name base only. Ray Lewis could have a bad year and still be a Pro Bowler. And Ray Lewis,
bro, you're dissing Zach Thomas for no reason right now.
I'm not dissing Zach Thomas.
You are dissing Zach
But I'm not going to sit up here and say that Carlos Dansby was a bum, because he wasn't, because you clearly just pointed out his stats. Carlos Dansby was nice.
I'm not saying he was a bum.
And if we're saying individual stats.
But I don't know if I'm hitting the table for him for Hall of Fame.
I mean, I would. If he has the stats, how do you not put him in? He was one of the best and most underrated players in his era.
But yeah, that's
why Drew Pearson is a Hall of Famer, even though there are cats like Cliff Branch with better numbers and more Super Bowl rings. But, the NFL has a thing against Raiders. But like I was saying.
Back to the Maniac.
Yeah. So he got a 5-year, $98 million, $98.5 million contract extension, which beats out Fred Warner for the most ever, $52 million in guaranteed money. And he earned it because he's been an All-Pro pretty much every year he's been in the league, at least the past 2 years. And he was Defensive Rookie of the Year. His second year where he had 163 tackles and 5 interceptions, 7 sacks, he should have won Defensive Player of the Year. Because for a linebacker to have 7 sacks and 5 picks, which I think was the same amount Gilmore had when he was Defensive Player of the Year, or he might have had 7 picks. But that's still more impressive to be a linebacker with almost 10 sacks and almost 7 interceptions. He was 3rd or 4th in the league in picks. And then that doesn't even include the forced fumbles, defensive touchdowns, all that. He's the best player for the Colts. It's not even – if you look at the Colts offense, for years, it was a quarterback, a running back, a receiver. No, Darius Leonard is their defense.
Who can do more on the football field than Darius Leonard?
For their team right now? Khalil Mack?
If you're starting a NFL Street 7-on-7 or 5-on-5 with players going both ways, is there somebody else you would take over Darius Leonard?
Khalil Mack. That's about it. Khalil Mack and Jalen Ramsey.
I feel like Darius Leonard would be better on offense than Khalil Mack. Unless you're just going to put Khalil Mack at running back and just have him run over everybody.
that was my thing because Darius Leonard would be a tight end for sure.
I think he could play receiver. He's 6'3", 220.
6'2", 230. Might be 6'3", but I'm putting him at tight end mismatch. If he can man the middle of the field, if he can defend it as good as he can attack it, I'd have to put him at linebacker. I have to put him at tight end. That's what a lot of linebackers do anyway in high school.
He played receiver in high school. He was 180 when he graduated.
Damn. Well,
6'3",
I put him at tight end.
That's why he didn't get many D1 offers. I think they said he wanted to go to Clemson,
but they weren't.
That was his dream school.
Well, went to South Carolina State and cleaned up.
But he ended up balling when they played Clemson. He had like 15 tackles and like a bunch of other stuff. That's kind of what put him on the draft map, basically.
Yeah. And just the numbers he's put up since he's been in the league, it's kind of hard to be like, this dude isn't one of the best players. Like, he's a transcendent player like Fred Warner is. Like, this dude, Darius Leonard, could have played in any era the way he plays. As Troy Polamalu said during his Hall of Fame speech, that's the best compliment you can get when the older guys say he could have played with us. And salute to him. And the Colts doing right by their players. And most of their players are cats that they scouted at the Senior Bowl. They lean heavily on that. So salute to Frank Reich and specifically Chris Ballard because he's been putting in work. Because the guy who before him definitely wasn't that great. But anyway, yeah. So preseason action.
Moving on, the NFL Hard Knocks series by HBO got its start along with the preseason. Everybody's been talking about Hard Knocks, but as you know, if you listen to the show, I really don't care.
I watched it. It was mid. I mean, it was funny.
The big thing everyone's been talking about is the whole Dak situation with him sitting out, and also I guess he had 2 surgeries on the ankle.
And he get a second MRI.
Yeah, that part.
And it was also funny that Lyle Collins was like, bro, you spent like 8 years in college. Because it was an LSU-Mississippi State rivalry. He was like, we dominated y'all. He was like, no, a couple years we beat y'all. He was like, yeah, when you was in Heisman contention. He's like, nah, bro, I was only there 5 years, and one was a redshirt year. I wasn't even really on the team. He's like, yeah, you were there like 8.5 years. It's okay. Lyle Collins. And then the whole smashing his face in the cake with the birthday cake. And then that backup lineman was like, I wanted that cake. I wanted some of that cake. It did look good. Like, don't smash my face with birthday cake. Give me a slice, bro, because that shit looked delicious. Like, as a kid, my mom would do that. We would go to Chuck E. Cheese, and she would just smash me and my older sister's face in birthday cake. And, like, we would think it wasn't going to happen, and she would just get the back of our head. And just One year, she held that shit there. Like, she held my head there in the cake, and I was worried. I started bubbling, and she, like, picked me back up. She's like, yeah, all right. I was like, that's fucked up. Yeah, shout out to parents abusing their kids in the 90s at birthday parties and getting away with it. I feel like parents started that shit where I'm going to hit you every year for how old you are. And like Definitely. Kids adopted it. It's almost like when they say, oh, when your mom says, oh, go get this for me, but it's not there. And like she's like, if I come find it, I'm going to fuck you up. But she strategically put it a place where she knows you don't have the mental capabilities to even think you would put it there. Like, you would never think to put that there. So she just knew, like, nobody else in the house would find it except her. So she just built planned obsolescence into an ass whooping that she wanted to give you anyway. So, yeah.
The one thing I will say about the Hard Knocks is, do we really need one more reason to talk about the Cowboys all off season?
I'm still not talking about the Cowboys. C.D. Lamb almost got hit in the nuts. Or got hit in the nuts in a drill, apparently. Tyrone Smith is still a freakish athletic marvel. Like, people really don't get that he's like insanely athletic, ran a 4.8 coming out of college, is 6'6" with like no body fat and still freakishly strong. Like, he's Larry Allen great. And his Madden rating is only a 91. It's a bullshit. Like, honestly, it's bullshit. Those Madden ratings are bullshit. At least like cats back in the day, like if someone like John Runyon, he was like a 97, but at right tackle because it was deserved. Like cats, like yeah, like that's why again I said it before. Like a lot of these Madden guys, they just didn't grow up playing football or don't watch actual football because there's not like a limit you put on guys in the 90s. Odell is like an elite receiver. He's an elite talent. Like Darius Leonard is like the 8th ranked linebacker in Madden. He's maybe like an 84, an 85.
Nah, he's not that low.
He's low, bro.
He's not that
check
low.
right now.
He's not that low.
Check right now. He's in the mid to low 80s. He might be an 87. Might be. But he's between like an 87 and like an 83.
No, he's not.
His rating is disrespectful. He's like, I'm the 6th ranked linebacker in Madden. But I've done all this.
He has an 89.
He's an 89? Okay, well. I saw some predictions and I was like, that's disgusting. But even an 89 is low for a guy who was defensive rookie of the year and an all-pro.
His awareness is a 93 and his tackles a 93.
Go look at the Madden list, though, and tell me some of those linebackers shouldn't be ranked higher. Like, they act like guys can't play. That's what I don't like about Madden. Like, you don't give guys their athletic due for how athletic they are, and then you don't give them enough awareness or whatever. It's like, I don't know if you're basing it off some pro football focus metric or I don't know what you're basing it off of, but like if you watch a cat's college production and then how they translate to the NFL, then how good they are in their production, you should give them some props. That's just me. That's just what I would do. But anyway, yeah, with Hard Knocks, Ezekiel Elliott, his birthday is a week before Dax. They're like best buddies for life. It's gonna be real sad when the Cowboys cut Ezekiel Elliott in like 3 years. It's gonna be real sad.
I don't know how to use this dumbass rating thing. Doesn't work.
No, just look.
It doesn't work.
It works.
It doesn't work.
It works. It's just dumb.
It doesn't work.
It's like they wanted people to hit the website more, so they decided to do that. And it's just like, no, we don't really need, like, we don't look to y'all for the website. EA got to do a better job. Remember Madden ratings should be so easy to find?
All right, other news from the week. Hall of Fame speeches went down this past weekend after the Hall of Fame game, Saturday and Sunday.
Peyton Manning.
Really, the only thing I saw from it this week was the photo bomb. The Tom Brady and Peyton Manning photo bomb.
Really? There was a whole bunch of shit. Edgerrin James, Ed Reed, all those Miami players.
I didn't see a lot of quotable stuff.
There was mad quotables.
I didn't see it.
I started with gold. I came into the NFL with gold teeth, no criminal record, and I left with a Hall of Fame gold jacket.
That's pretty hard.
Edgerrin James was dropping bars. What do you think?
That's pretty hard.
He's like, everybody thought I was a criminal. I was never a criminal. I never got in trouble. And like people really don't understand. Like they drafted Joseph Adai to be his replacement, and Joseph Adai never came close to anything Edgerrin James was. I wish they would have kept him another year, honestly, because I think they won a Super Bowl the year after he got cut. Might have been a year or two.
But he was on that, wasn't he on the
Cardinals team that lost in the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
So you see my point? He should have got a ring.
But he was splitting carries.
He
was splitting carries.
Yeah, but that's what
he was splitting carries before then.
And that's what
he was the first star running back to split carries.
No. It was Emmett Smith.
He was splitting
Emmett
carries.
Smith was in Arizona before. Do you not remember that?
But Edgerrin James
broke the record in Arizona.
In Indianapolis.
No, he wasn't splitting carries.
Yes, he was.
Not at the end, no.
Yes, he was.
Joseph Adai was a rookie.
Edgerrin James basically split carries
Dominic Rhodes?
most of his career.
No, he didn't.
There was like a 5-year prime where he didn't.
He also
but
rushed
at the
for
beginning of his
1,500
career,
yards.
he was splitting carries too. And
he had like 300 yards. He was a receiving threat and a running threat. So, like, yeah, they had another running back who maybe got 80 carries.
Edgerrin James was not your first picked running back in those early 2000s. Shut your ass up.
Yeah, he was.
No, he wasn't.
Marshall
You're
Falk,
lying.
before he got hurt, you're right.
lying.
Yeah, he was. Edgerrin James was nice. Edgerrin James was so good. It's like, okay, as long as I get Edgerrin James, I got a chance.
Okay, but what I'm trying to say is he was never
like
the
the
best
third-
running back ever at any point of his career.
He kind of was.
When was he the best running back in the NFL?
Like 5 years in.
No, he was not. He was never the best running back.
He kind of.
He was never the best player at his position.
Okay, look up the years he
I
was
need
in the
you to
league.
stop remembering running backs who were like the fifth
I need
best.
you to stop acting like Peyton Manning won
I need
all
you
those
to
games
stop-
by himself.
I need you to stop remembering like the fifth best running back as the best running back.
Nah.
You have an affinity for running backs
There's a reason he's in
Who
the
were
Hall
like-
of Fame.
who
There's
were
a reason
like
he's in the Hall of
the
Fame.
1C. Like, oh yeah, you were the third best.
There's a reason he's in the
running back.
Hall of Fame, right?
I
Because
guess
he was that dude, right?
I guess.
Name 3 guys better than him when he was playing. Go. You
Sean
can't.
Alexander,
Lies.
Priest Holmes,
Okay, I'll give you that.
Marshall Falk,
Marshall Falk was
Clinton
hurt.
Portis for
Marshall
like 1
Falk-
year,
That's a fucking lie,
for
bro.
like 2 years.
His rookie year.
Like
His
2
rookie year.
years.
So before he got traded to Washington. Shut up.
He had like that one good year in
He
Washington.
had 2. The first year, every other year was downhill, and he was injury prone. Go check it. Google it right
But
now.
my
on the phone.
point is,
Edgerrin James was like a
was
great
never
back
the best
for
running
like
back.
a good 7 years.
He was never the best though.
Yeah, he was. You're full of
Jamal Lewis,
shit. You're full of shit. Okay, that was 1 year he rushed for 2,000 yards.
bro. There was a lot of great running backs in the early
Yes.
2000s, and Edgerrin James was never the best.
He was top 5.
Okay,
Easily top 5.
okay,
Easily top 5.
okay.
You're being disrespectful.
But he was never the best.
LT.
Can you just say he was
He
never
was-
the best?
Him and LT
Can
were
you
like,
just say he was never better than LT?
he
He was
I
never
agree.
once better than
I
LT.
agree. LT was the best for a while. But Edgerrin James was top 5. And he didn't get the credit because he played on the Colts. But if Peyton Manning didn't have Edgerrin James, they would have
Okay, and if Clinton Portis was on the Colts,
but Clinton Portis,
he would have had 1,800 rushing yards every year.
well,
You can't even contest that.
I mean, Clinton Portis didn't catch a lot of passes.
He wouldn't need to.
No, he wasn't like that kind
Was-
of back.
Yeah, but with 6-man boxes all day long,
No,
bro. He was playing in Denver and Washington with no quarterback.
they stacked the
He
box.
was
on
the
Indy
fucking
too.
decoy. He was a decoy.
They stacked
So
the box on
imagine
Indy.
going from being
Wait, he
the
was a
decoy
where?
at Washington and Denver.
He wasn't a decoy in Washington. He was like their best player.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And Santana.
But they were
Holmes.
loading the box.
Santana Moss would be a decoy.
They were loading the
Lavernius
box.
Coles would be a decoy.
They were loading the
Chris
box.
Cooley would be a decoy.
What I'm saying though is, so take him out of that situation with 8-man boxes, put him in a 6, and what
Edgerrin James was like the
6
5th
boxes.
overall pick for a reason.
I'm not saying Edgerrin James was sorry or washed or
You're
trash.
talking shit about it. You're talking mad shit. You're acting like he was Corey Dillon. And Corey Dillon.
Corey
was not-
Dillon probably had a year where he was the best running back,
He played for
and
the Bengals.
Edgerrin James
He
didn't.
played for the Bengals as a count.
Edgerrin James has never had a year where he was the best running back.
Okay, now I gotta Google his stats. Okay,
You're forgetting Ricky Williams' 1,800 yard season during that time,
There was like 10 guys who were the best back in the league. That
and
one
Edgerrin
season-
James was never one of them.
total yardage,
He was
all-purpose
never one of
yardage.
them.
Yes, he was like LT, but not as fast.
He's not even the best Miami back.
He actually is low key.
So
He's
you're
better than
saying-
Frank Gore. Don't even fuck.
Wow.
He's way better than Frank Gore. That's not
Wow.
even funny.
Wow.
Don't even open your mouth to say that. He like there's him, there's Willis McGahee, Frank Gore's second, obviously. But there's Willis McGahee, there's Clinton Portis, who won't be in the Hall of Fame, but he's 4th. Already.
I just need to hear you say that Edgerrin James was never the best running back.
He was never the best overall running back in the league, but he was top 5 consistently.
Fine.
You're being disrespectful.
That's fine.
Fuck,
I'll
bro.
take that.
He
I
was
accept
top
that.
5 consistently.
I accept that. All right.
Unbelievable.
Other
then-
takeaways from the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, this man is so disrespectful. Like, you are truly disrespectful. 80 rushing touchdowns, bro. 80. Bro, his second year in the league, he had 1,700 rushing yards. He had 1,000 rushing yards, like pretty much to end off his career. And he would have had 6. His fourth year in the league, he had 989 yards. Bro, come on. You're being disrespectful. And that does, let's see, how many receiving? Bro, he had like 600 receiving yards his rookie year.
All right, man. But anyways,
Holy shit.
Other news from the Hall of Fame.
He had like 90 total touchdowns in his career. He played for Seattle. That is disgusting.
Charles Woodson made into the Hall of Fame, as well as Tom Flores.
Just a winner.
Shout out to the Raiders actually having a reason to be happy for once.
55 years with one organization. Tom Flores. Jim Plunkett was there. Cliff Branch not being in the Hall of Fame was just a spit in the face. I'm glad Drew Pearson finally got in.
Hines Ward made an appearance.
He did.
Presenting Alan Faneca, not getting a gold jacket.
Alan Faneca was one of the greatest guards of all time. And then he played tackle. That's how good he was. And he was good in Arizona. That's the crazy part. And he was good with the Jets. Like, Faneca and Hutchinson were two of the best guards in the league for a long time. But yeah, Hutchinson got in too.
Yeah, he did.
I just look at Troy Polamalu.
And your boy Isaac Bruce.
Isaac fucking Bruce. 91 career touchdown catches. And you saying he's not a Hall of Famer. Disgusting.
I didn't say he's not a Hall of Famer. Again,
You definitely
I
did
said
say
he
it.
was never the
No.
best receiver of his era.
Go back and
He
look
was
at it.
never he was made highest
Before
top
the year-
3.
Before
Highest top 3.
Before the year 2000.
The highest top
before,
3.
Before the year 2000, he was. When he had like 1,700 receiving yards. With fucking no-name QB. I think Tony Banks was a QB at one point. Yeah, I just brought up Tony Banks.
Tony Banks is a bingo spot on this podcast.
Tony Banks might be a time variant. I'm just saying. He might be a variant. He might, I don't know. Hopefully he doesn't get proven, but he might be a variant. But Troy Polamalu, John Lynch got in. I don't feel like he was a Hall of Famer. That's one where I'm like, that's just, there's safeties with much better numbers than him. Rodney Harrison was a much better player than John Lynch. But when you play in a legendary defense and you've been there for so long, I don't know how he got 9 Pro Bowls. And he's never had more than like 4 picks in the season. That's crazy to me. He's a glorified linebacker.
White privilege?
Definitely white privilege. Because that's the case. Nick Collins was a better player. And if you're going to say
about that, but
Nick Collins was a ball hog,
I don't know about that.
the only thing that kept him out of the Hall of Fame was a broken neck. Like he literally broke a fucking vertebrae in his neck and couldn't play anymore. And he tried to play with a broken neck for a season.
I feel like the safeties in the AFC have been better through the NFC too. I feel like that's
Look up
part of
Nick
it.
Collins stats.
I know who Nick Collins is, bro. You always reference Nick Collins.
HBCU. Tim Cookman. But
We should put together an all career-ending hurt team.
is Terrell Davis on it?
I
Is
mean,
Patrick Willis on it? Is Luke Kuechly on it?
no, it'd be players whose career ended too soon due to injury. So like Ryan
Technic-
Shazier would be on it.
Definitely. But technically, Kuechly retired because of concussions. And he had a lot of concussions. And Patrick Willis was mad banged up. He played through a lot of shit.
Shoulders.
Like, literally, he ran like a 4.39. Like, and we just overlooked the fact that he was insanely fast and hawking down receivers.
But see, he was actually the best linebacker in the
Best
league
pure
at one time,
linebacker.
and he's not in the Hall of Fame. That's what I'm saying. Is like there's a lot of great players in the league.
Like, John Lynch is in the Hall of Fame, but Patrick Willis isn't. Then don't tell me it's a log jam. Like, there's a bunch of receivers that should be in the Hall of Fame. Like, they're not what? So you're going to make Steve Smith Sr. wait? Because he's a Hall of Famer.
Definitely.
He's the Allen Iverson of football players. Like DeMarcus Ware is first ballot.
Is he?
Are you on fucking drugs? He had like 4 20-sack seasons, bro. He was unblockable.
He has
in Dallas.
that many 20-sack seasons?
At least 3 or at least 2. Possibly 3, because I think he had 1 year like 18 and a half or 19. But he's had multiple 20-sack seasons. Like, he was unblockable for years.
He's a 2-time sack leader.
And how many years has he had 20 sacks? How many seasons? At least 2?
He had 1 and another one with 19 and a half.
Close enough.
And then he had another year where he led with 15 and a half. So basically,
how many career sacks does he have?
138.
Robert Mathis, also the Colts sack.
Dang, he's eligible to go to Hall of Fame this year. That's crazy.
DeMarcus Ware, Robert Mathis, first ballot
Time flies.
First ballot Hall of Famers.
So,
because Mathis was like in Dwight Freeney's shadow, and then when Dwight Freeney left, he was still an elite pass rusher, and then actually was a better fit as a 3-4 outside linebacker, and was still putting in work.
Mathis is eligible too.
How many sacks does he have? Probably like 140.
123.
Oh, still.
He only had 1 year with 19.
But he was a beast, is what my point. And like all those years in Indy, he was a monster. So you got those 2 guys. You got Steve Smith and Quan Bolden, I think, is a Hall of Famer. He's done enough to where you can say he's a Hall of Famer. Came back from a broken jaw.
That's why I just hate talking about the Hall of Fame, because it's like, what is the Hall of Fame? Right? Like, to me, the first ballot is like you were the best player at your position. That makes you a lock. Like, for at least more than 2 years.
Generational talent?
Nah, because a lot of generational talents don't even make it.
Well, Charles Wilson was a generational talent. Peyton Manning is a generational talent.
Calvin Johnson was.
Now, that's the thing with Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson was a generational talent. Don't sit here and try to tell me Calvin Johnson is not a generational talent.
But T.O. has every right to be mad because he's like, Calvin Johnson wasn't half the receiver I was.
Psych.
Statistically?
Psych.
Statistically?
Psych.
Statistically?
Psych.
Statistically?
Psych.
Statistically?
Psych.
Statistically?
Let's ask Jeff Garcia.
Jeff Garcia played in Detroit too.
That's what I'm saying. Ask Jeff Garcia.
Okay, Calvin was a cheat code, and he would have probably put up greater numbers everywhere else.
Anybody who's ever stepped within 50 yards of a football field can tell you Calvin Johnson is the sickest receiver they've ever seen. Regardless of stats or longevity, his combination of size, speed, route running,
leaping ability,
toughness, it's unprecedented.
They made rules based on him getting touchdown catches stolen from him. And he did it for the fucking Detroit Lions.
He was basically Randy Moss and T.O. together.
Not as fast, but still fast. A 4.35. That's fast. I'm just saying, if I have T.O. or Calvin Johnson, I'm taking
Calvin Johnson.
I'm taking
Calvin Johnson.
Prime?
I'm taking Calvin Johnson.
T.O. is stronger than
Calvin. I'm taking Calvin Johnson, bro. T.O. played a whole nother, like, basically decade more than Calvin Johnson.
And was still elite.
Elite or good?
Elite.
I wouldn't say elite. I'd say
for
good.
His age, he was elite.
I'd say good.
Okay, fine. He was good. He was Jerry Rice productive. Jerry Rice was productive with the Raiders.
Jerry Rice had 1,000-yard receiving season.
With the Raiders.
Yeah.
Multiple, I think.
Yeah. And T.O. had one with Buffalo?
Wasn't Buffalo, but he went to Cincinnati. That's the thing. Philly and then 3 other spots, he was the best receiver. But I definitely think he had 1,000-yard receiver somewhere in those.
I think it was Buffalo.
Dallas, he led the league in touchdown. Dallas, he actually owned the single season touchdown record for touchdown receptions in Dallas before Des Bryant broke it with 16 years later.
Yeah, he had 2,000 he had 3,000 yards with Dallas.
Okay.
And then he had almost 1,000 with Cincinnati.
Okay, fine. Let's just go top 5 receivers right now and get this shit out the way. Obviously, we
All
say
right, well,
Jerry.
we're on a tangent. And
Jerry
we're
Rice.
already late.
I'm going Randy Moss, T.O., Jerry Rice. No, Randy Moss, T.O. Yeah, Randy Moss, T.O., Jerry Rice, Calvin Johnson. Who's the fifth person?
If you're talking about the most decorating, it's definitely Jerry Rice.
Dominant.
No debate. It's Jerry Rice.
Well,
Jerry
yeah.
Rice has all the records.
Yeah.
If you're talking about like,
I'm starting
if
a
you're
team
talking
with,
about the best deep threat, most highlights, you go Randy Moss.
are you starting a
If
team?
you're talking about maybe the best like all around combination, then yeah.
What's up, Felix Reyes Jr.? Shout out to.
Then yeah, you're talking about Terrell Owens. But that's why, for me, at least, much like how people say Barry Sanders is the best running back ever,
I wouldn't say that.
a lot of people say that.
He's close.
Okay, a lot of people say Barry Sanders is the best running back they've ever seen.
I want Marshall
Calvin
Faulk.
Johnson is the best receiver
Why
I've
do we
ever
act
seen.
like Marshall Faulk don't fucking exist, bro? The first 1,000 and 1,000, and he averaged like 10 yards a catch when he did it. Like we just act
Marshall
like
Faulk is great. Don't get me wrong, but
he was great, and he went to fucking San
when
Diego
you're talking
State,
about
bro.
highlights, like what you've seen,
Marshall versus Barry Sanders. I get it. No one was more agile. I get it. And if Barry Sanders played anywhere else, holy shit. The amount of rings. But he didn't. He played in Detroit.
all I'm saying is a
T.O. was
player,
great
the eye
everywhere he
test,
went.
the eye test, the best player I've ever seen consistently down in and down out.
Oh,
Probably Calvin Johnson.
Andre Johnson's also up for the Hall of Fame, too. So, again, Andre Johnson was a faster T.O. out the gate. Andre Johnson was only a couple inches shorter than Megatron. And he was doing things that Megatron wasn't doing. So, again, like, Andre Johnson's one of the greatest receivers I've ever seen. He did it in bum-ass Houston. So, what are we saying? Like, if we're going to say that, go look up Andre Johnson's stats.
I don't know why you're turning down the hill of Calvin Johnson wasn't that good.
No, Calvin Johnson
that's where you're trending.
Calvin Johnson was great, but let's not act like he didn't play for the Detroit Lions.
What does that mean? Exactly. He was great in spite of playing for the Detroit Lions.
Okay, so is Steve Smith Sr., and
He
so
played for the Panthers and went to a lot of playoffs. The
And he was
Panthers
the
aren't
reason-
trash, bro.
he's the reason why they won a lot of games, too. And also, Andre Johnson. Larry Fitzgerald. So, like, are we gonna put those guys? Or is the criteria different for them?
Okay, Miami Kenny.
Because no, Larry
we move
Fitzgerald
on?
played on mostly losing ass teams
Can we move
in
on?
Arizona. I'm just saying. Can we be real? Arizona and
I don't
Houston
even
were,
think Larry Fitzgerald's in this conversation. if we're
but
being honest.
he already has like he's top 3 in most stats, yards, catches. So, and let's be honest, the last 3 years were just stat stuffing. So that's what I'm saying. Where does Larry Fitzgerald go in your top 5? Is Larry
I'll
Fitzgerald
tell
better
you
than
what,
Megatron?
I'm not even putting Isaac Bruce over Tim Brown.
That's fair because of kick return value. And you like Notre Dame. You're a Notre Dame dick rider. What does that say up there? Because I can't see
Wow.
it. You are. And
Wow.
you are. You're Notre Dame.
We all know that T.O. had to wait because he didn't play the game like Calvin Johnson did.
Exactly. Calvin Johnson sat up there and talked to the media. Let a lot of shit go when literally Matthew Stafford was just like, I don't know what else to do. Let me throw it up to Calvin. As Mark Bland said, he carried Matthew Stafford on his fucking back to glory. And it almost killed him.
One playoff game glory.
They always beat the Cowboys for some reason.
Shout out to Joey Harrington.
Yeah. Shout out to that fantasy football league that we're in now. Probably
Awkward.
you have to join.
Awkward.
September 5th. The draft's 5.
All right, other news from the week. Jaguars trade former Pro Bowl middle linebacker Joe Schobert to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Schobert was a key free agent acquisition 2 years ago? 1 year
He
ago?
was really good for Cleveland. My phone died. I don't know what's on the right
If I
now.
had $1 for every Cleveland middle linebacker who got paid and then was mid somewhere else.
Carlos Dansby was on that list. but he was actually good somewhere else.
All right. The Dolphins restructured cornerback Xavier Howard's contract.
So now he's gonna be making like an extra $3 million. He's gonna be making like almost $17 million a year.
And the trade talk is dead, apparently.
Yep, it's done. No one wins when the family feuds.
And other family feuds going on. Michael Thomas, the Saints. According to reports, Thomas hasn't been answering Saints calls basically all the offseason. Then it was reported this week that him and Sean Payton are trying to work it out. But who knows, man?
I mean, if Jameis Winston and a guy who stole Alvin Kamara's touchdown.
We were talking about it. Like, they were talking about it on the radio, and they're like, what does it say? Like, what does it say more about? Taysom Hill, who Sean Payton's basically been, like, wanting to win the job?
This project.
Or Jameis Winston, a former number 1 overall pick?
Who
like
should win the job?
So who does it say more about that the two are in a job, are in a contention for?
I mean, if somebody's
like, is it worse that Jameis Winston is a former number 1 overall pick and he's competing with a dude who's basically a gadget player? Or is it saying more about the gadget player that's being propped up and now he's being beat out? Or at least, potentially
they're paying him a lot of money.
Pick.
They're paying Taysom Hill a lot of money.
But you expect Jameis Winston should. He's a quarterback. He's the number 1 pick.
I think their team is better with Jameis Winston at the helm. But Taysom Hill's a gadget player who stole touchdowns from
I think
Alvin
the biggest
Kamara.
thing is just Jameis's body. Like, he's lost a lot of weight, and that tells me that he's taking it more seriously.
Yeah, but...
And the fact that he's been on this team now, 2nd year, he's familiar with the Buccaneers. Like, he has the leadership qualities. He always has. It's just he also knows how to shoot himself in the foot. Shout out to Plaxico.
Ouch. That wasn't called for. Plaxico didn't bother nobody. He wasn't doing nothing. You were chilling. Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, like,
these are fellow strip.
Jameis Winston has always had it. He just doesn't always put it together.
Sometimes he becomes a Bama ass dude.
And the reason why I bring that up is just because I think the reason why the Saints are trying to keep Michael Thomas is because of that uncertainty at quarterback.
Because they know damn well Taysom Hill's not going to throw Michael Thomas the ball.
You can't lose Drew Brees and Michael Thomas in the same offseason.
You can't afford to
when
lose.
You had 2 NFC Championship games with them.
You can't afford to lose your whole team if you go all in on a guy who stole touchdowns from Alvin Kamara and can't get the ball out to more than, Michael Thomas or a tight end on the design play. Like,
plot twist, they signed Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow probably is going to make the roster for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but C.J. Henderson somehow I don't know, man. Again, when when this whole thing blows up in everybody's face, I'm gonna just let y'all know that, like, he was a terrible hire, and they should have never. And if he wastes Trevor Lawrence, I'm gonna just let you know. Like I told you,
him and Minshew are in a QB battle too, as well.
Yeah, they're saying, "Oh, well." I was like, "Fam, he's the number 1 overall pick. At least protect him enough to say we're gonna compete. Whoever's ready will start. Whoever isn't, they'll be right there." We're
Just
gonna
trade Damon Arnett for C.J. Henderson. Call it a day.
I mean, you're gonna have to give up another safety if you do that. Because
they can have Garyon Conley too.
They already got Conley's in Houston. That's fucked up. That's just mean. Trayvon Mullins is pretty all right.
You can have Jeff Okuda.
In Detroit,
I'm just naming trash ass OSU corners.
He's not even trash. He actually he tore his fucking core muscle, and then the other one tears naturally. So
you said he was trash last year.
He had a trash rookie year because he was injured and didn't play that well. But I still think he's a good corner.
You didn't say that last year
because he was terrible last year. Like, there was no reason to ever say, like, oh yeah, there's hope. He was god awful. So, you go at number 3 and you're a corner You ain't got to be Dion, but you better be damn near close to Jalen Ramsey.
Or Woodson.
Yeah. And Woodson didn't go that high, did he?
He was like
4?
Yeah.
What?
Sounds right.
But bottom line is, it's kind of a shit show, man. When you really look at like all these training camp battles and who might go where, Tim Tebow making a roster as a tight end, totally stealing an opportunity from some poor guy who probably deserves it more than him. But because a dude who has 0 NFL head coaching success because he was good in college because he recruited well. I guess that somehow makes it okay. Boy.
Know what that means? It's time for college football.
Okay, so the one story that we have for college football.
I know, coincidence.
And it would be about BYU. Taysom Hill's alma mater. So BYU, all their walk-ons will have. They got an NIL deal, a name, image, licensing deal that will cover the cost of a scholarship for all the walk-ons at BYU, and it's a Utah-based company that's giving them the sponsorship. What's it called again?
It is called. Doesn't say.
Just click the link. There's a story there. I forget the name. It's something blank. I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, that's pretty dope that a Utah-based company is literally just paying for all the walk-ons to have like name, imaging, licensing deals that will cover the cost of their scholarship.
Sounds like it's multiple Utah-based companies.
Yeah. But the fact that they're doing that is dope, and I guess it's a good recruiting pitch.
Well, I guess it's called Built Brands.
Yeah, there we go. That's the name of it. So it's like, hey, come to BYU. Even if you're a walk-on, we got some bread for you either way.
They specialize in health foods and protein bars.
Oh, yeah.
So it makes sense.
That's when you're a D1 athlete. Come on. It's eating money. Just get on IG. Do what you do. That's easy money. That's it for college football this week. Everybody's still sweating over the Big 12 Texas thing, so not talking about that 4 weeks in a row. Rapido.
All right, first up, Seahawks cut Alden Smith. Take your tangent on that, Kenny.
Pretty much goes back to his legal situation that he had a couple months back.
Where he strangled someone or allegedly strangled someone.
Man, just can't catch a break or get out of his way. This is probably going to be it for him unless he ends up going back to the Cowboys.
Not the first time I heard you say that, sir. It's about the 4th time.
The 7th, actually. Shout out to Arden Key, who couldn't wait to get out of Oakland and was in San Francisco.
I mean, as we all know, I'm a big Alden Smith fan.
The president of his fan club?
Him and Jello Ball. Just me and LeVar.
Probably gonna name your son
fan
after
club,
him or
fan
your daughter.
Club party of 2. Just me and LeVar. We're the only ones who believed.
I still think y'all should have just became a NFL pass rusher or a tight end at UCLA.
But yeah, so Alden Smith, like I guess they were saying the Seahawks he was already kind of buried because they have Dunlap, LJ Collier, and like 2 other guys.
Rasheem Green.
So he was already kind of fighting for a job, and it just wasn't worth the headache with the pending legal case and his age. So hopefully the case gets cleared up and he can get back onto a roster. I think there are plenty of contending teams who could use his spot pass rushing ability.
I'll give you 4 sacks a year.
I think he can give you 6 if you put him in the right lineup.
Okay.
He was pretty good on the Cowboys last year. Like, he only had 5 sacks, but he honestly could have had a lot more. Like, that defense was banged up the whole entire year.
I'll give you at least 4. Anything over 4 sacks is great for him.
I think he can get 6 easy.
How far?
I think if he would have stayed with Seattle, he would have got 6 sacks in like only playing a quarter game, if that.
imagine what he could have been.
I know. He honestly could have been probably the best pass rusher ever.
19 and a half sacks to getting cut by the Seahawks. Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think that 49ers defense gets enough credit.
Because Justin Smith was pretty much sacrificing
Eating everyone.
Eating up blocks so Alden Smith could run free.
That whole defense, though.
Ahmed Brooks.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Ahmed Brooks was pretty good, too, for a couple of years.
Setting the edge.
All right. Next one. Dak Prescott get another MRI. The topical tangent of the week. Take your tangent on Dak Prescott.
I mean, they're kind of in a conundrum because you don't play him the whole preseason. Then he comes out there week 1 and you're like, all right, here we go. We're going to have to ease him back in.
Well, Max Kellerman was making the point. He was like, him and Carson Wentz came out in the same draft class. And it was like Carson had those MVP heights, but he also had a lot of downs where it was like, is that the same dude? Versus Dak was like the steady guy. He's consistent,
Right.
didn't get hurt. And now the narrative's changing. Like, he missed all last season. If those misses or his play drops this next year, it's like it's going to be hard for him to get it back.
Allegedly.
We'll see. I mean, I think Dak is someone you can't really count out based off of everything he's already done
And
in his collegiate and NFL career.
I mean, when I saw him get knocked out in spring break, I was like, he's never going to recover from this.
Well, the Cowboys have a roster, so I mean, I think if you can get Dak to 80%, you got enough to get to the playoffs receivers in that sorry division. With those receivers,
indeed.
All right, and last one for Take Your Tangent. The Colts, they extended their head coach Frank Reich and GM Chris Ballard through 2026. Take your tangent on that, Kenny.
Shout out to the Colts for being a smart franchise, even though their owner, Jim Irsay, occasionally does some wild, illegal, dumb, stupid shit. Like, the Colts are a very smart and on-brand franchise. Like, you could say with the whole Andrew Luck situation, they found a way to bounce back from that. They got a star running back in Jonathan Taylor in the first round. They got a backup, a dude who they got, I think, in the 4th or 5th round, Marlon Mack, who was a 1,000-yard rusher. Then they got Naeem Hines, who's a beast at running back, receiver, wherever they need him. They built the offensive line. They built the defense. They're adding free agents here and there. They got the most out of Justin Houston. Like, the Colts are just right there. They're just missing a quarterback.
Andrew Luck.
Somebody get RG3 out of retirement.
All right. Now moving to touchdown or turnover. If I can find the drum.
There it goes.
All right. Usain Bolt says he'll put up a gold medal up against Tyreek Hill's Super Bowl for a 70-yard dash. Touchdown or turnover?
Turnover. Olympic medals ain't worth shit.
Facts. So definitely a turnover for Tyreek Hill. You got to throw something else in there. You got to throw in some endorsements, Usain Bolt.
That's easy money, bro.
Throw in that Wheaties endorsement.
That's easy money from Usain Bolt, and he knows it. It's a lose-lose situation. Tyreek should have never done this.
I like how they chose the 70-yard dash, though. They're like, let's not do a 40 or 100.
Let's go 70. It's prime speed. That's enough to get going and enough to accelerate for at least 20 yards.
All right. Next up, former first-round pick. We already alluded to it a little bit earlier. C.J. Henderson, University of Florida alumni, is on the trade block, and he's in Urban Meyer's doghouse. Touchdown or turnover?
I think it's a turnover. I don't think they should give up on him yet. He was the 9th overall pick. Unless he's on some DJ Hayton type stuff.
At least he's not in Will Muschamp's doghouse.
Yeah. Because Florida DBs always get in legal trouble.
No,
Florida-
wasn't Muschamp the one who locked that kid in the shed and stuff?
No, that was Mike Leach at
Mike
Texas
Leach,
Tech.
my bad. I'm sorry.
And it was
Mike Leach.
it was the white dude
Yeah, it
who
was someone's
in the
son,
Pony
some
Express.
NFL player's son.
Craig. Damn, I forget his name. It was a white dude. He ended up getting fired at ESPN college football. He was a Pro Bowl running back too. One of the few good white running backs in NFL history. Not Craig Roberts. Damn it, I'm gonna look up his name. Go ahead and keep. My phone's dead. I can't.
Patrick Robinson retires. Former Super Bowl winning, former Saint, Super Bowl winning cornerback, 2010 first round pick. 11 seasons later,
didn't he play for the Eagles and win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, he did.
And he also came out of Florida State. I was surprised that he made it was a first round pick, but good for him.
And last one, Alex Smith joining ESPN as a part-time analyst. I'm sorry. Touchdown.
I had another one on there.
You didn't.
I feel like I did. That was the third one?
No, I added that one.
No, but what was the one I had? Because
You didn't have one.
I had 3 and 3.
I don't think so, sir.
Oh, it was about the Minnesota Vikings first round picks.
Oh yeah, I might have deleted that.
You did, you fucking asshole. Why you just lied on the air? Unbelievable.
I deleted that like 40 minutes ago.
That's why I'm like, what are you like? I wrote the rundown. But anyway.
I forgot I deleted that. I deleting that from my memory.
Habitual liar. Unbelievable. Yeah, I don't really care about the Alex Smith thing. I'm gonna just mention the one I was doing.
Damn, you really don't care about Alex Smith?
Being a
Utah alumni? Someone who put Utah on the map? Someone who handed the football off to your guy, Reggie Bush, in high school? You don't care about Alex Smith? A redemption story who came back from the same leg injury you did? You don't care about Alex Smith.
My leg wasn't that bad, but it could have been. I didn't have world-class doctors or money, so. But anyway, it's a whole nother story. Good for him for getting an analyst gig. Because no NFL team is going to touch him because his leg is just. His leg is crystal.
I think he should get another job.
Nah, I don't want to see him get hurt.
He played okay last year.
I don't want to see him get injured. Just retire.
Off of 2 years out of the league.
Please retire, bro. You don't need to prove anything.
You took it. Aaron Donald hit.
You don't need to prove anything else. Just retire. Nobody wants to see your leg get mangled. We don't want that level of trauma. It's like Boobie Miles.
Finish what you're saying. Minnesota corners.
So, yeah, Minnesota cornerbacks. Minnesota has a terrible history drafting corners in the first round. And them releasing former TCU corner, Jeff Gladney.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
He got convicted of assaulting a woman. He punched her in the face. And they released him.
Didn't he have red flags coming out of the draft? Injuries or something?
Yeah.
Because he was supposed to be like a steal, right?
They said he was a steal, and I'm like, yeah, I don't trust TCU corners because TCU is trash. They've been not good for a while now.
Jason Verrett bounced back.
And how many injuries has he had?
Yeah, it took him like 5 years, but hey, finally.
Didn't he get drafted by the Chargers first?
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, so it's a turnover for the Minnesota Vikings drafting cornerbacks in the first round. Should have just stuck to another receiver. I don't know, maybe a linebacker. Or I don't know. Maybe you could have traded up and got Justin Fields, but now you're stuck with Christian Dorsal, and he has a core muscle injury, and you're hoping he comes in and does something.
Didn't they bring Mackenzie Alexander back? Or
the guy who got no picks in college?
Or Trey Waynes? They brought one of those guys back.
He didn't do much either. Trey Waynes only was a first-round pick because he ran a 4.31. Michigan State DBs were getting cooked.
And he was tall and lengthy.
No, he's like 5'10".
He was lengthy, though.
Yeah, that's about it.
All right, so with that, we move into the rants. This is how we close out the show. Speak our mind, what we're feeling, what we want to leave the people with. So, Kenny, go ahead and go first.
All right, so my nephew is doing this thing now more than ever where he's just like headbutts the shit out of me and my mom and my sister. Like I'm talking about just violent headbutts. Like he might be a football player because the physicality is there, and he's grown like 5 inches in like the 3 months of his existence, which is impressive. Like he was like 8 pounds, now he's like 14, and he's like 24 inches long. I think he was like 18 or 19 when he was first born. Now he's like 24. It's crazy to like see like a baby, that progression. Because when you're working, you're doing your thing, like you don't have time to really soak it in. I told my older sister a couple nights ago because he was crying, just crying, just crying. Wasn't hungry. He just wanted to be held. And I told my sister, I said, one day he's going to be too big for you to do this, and you're going to miss these moments. So just appreciate it and enjoy it, bask in it. I was like, damn. Funny how things come full circle. But also, yeah, humans. We're totally just gonna fucking Cronenberg ourselves out of existence, aren't we? With the climate news happening and so much shit going on. It's just like, oh, so we're gonna destroy ourselves. Like, it's not even the virus. Like the virus is like, I'm just here, bro. I'm not even the worst thing you have to deal with. Like peanut allergies didn't get us. The Antarctic melting won't get us. No, it'll be like really high temperatures and like bacterial
Starro the Conqueror.
Yeah, bacteria that's like fucking millions of years old being unthawed in ice that'll probably just fuck us all up and kill us. Like, yay, humans, we're stupid. And oh yeah, lastly, just be safe out there, y'all. Just try to make smart decisions. Be safe.
All right, so first off, man, shout out to Harley Quinn. She basically saved the whole newest remake, whatever the fuck you want to call it, about Suicide Squad.
Soft reboot, RIP Captain Flag.
Low key, the movie was kind of trash, but kind of not trash.
So like the first one.
Nah, the first one was definitely trash. But like, if you rewatch it, it's less trash than you remember it. But this one is trash. Oh, I guess it's the same. Yeah, you're right. Fuck it.
Yeah.
But basically, Harley Quinn was pretty much the only thing that made that movie watchable. John Cena was actually okay too. Give him props.
Idris Elba.
Yeah, and actually, Viola Davis was okay.
Viola Davis.
But yeah, man, this Suicide Squad movie, I don't know. I still feel like the Birds of Prey movie was the best of the trilogy so far.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I just felt like it had the most concise like character development. Like I feel like with this one, DC definitely kind of overcompensated because they like, not to spoil it, but they put a lot of action at the beginning and they went backwards.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, you guys say we don't have character development, so here's your character development type of thing.
Poor Rick Flag.
Yeah. But other than that, this week, man, football season's here. Preseason's going on. High school's gearing up. 0 weeks next week. So we're going to start having some games on Friday nights and Thursday during the day. So young athletes out there, man, get your head right. It's that time of the year where all that shit you did in April, May, June, July, 7-on-7, the weight room, spring ball, last year's shortened season, none of that shit matters anymore. All that matters now is your next play, your next game, what's happening now. And that's really what's great about football is like the truth comes out, and this is the time where the truth is coming out. We're gonna see who's really about that life and who's not. Like, period. And the same thing can be said about the NFL. Like, preseason's gearing up in 4 weeks. We'll have a better idea of like who actually is the team, because guess what? We've all been dealing with COVID now for a year. We know seasons can go on, so it's not an excuse anymore. You got to figure out a way to make it happen. And yeah, that's about it for me. Shout out to the X Squad affiliates. Shout out to FBC Radio. Shout out to Izzy. Congratulations on her new job. Yeah.
That deserves an actual like.
And yeah, man, shout out to you for listening to this podcast. Shout out to FBC Radio. I already said that. And your favorite podcast app. We are out. Sorry we were late. We'll try not to do it again next week, but there's a good chance we will anyways, because don't you have an orientation next week?
God damn. We're still live on StreamYard.
Peace out.